haven't talked about Wyatt too much lately, and I wanted to make a short video about Wyatt's journey. This whole summer I felt like I was like at a plateau with this horse. I realized some of that was just like I'm in the middle of a transition with him, and changing kind of how I think about the process. Hi, bud. Because I made some big decisions for him. And I think also those plateaus to a degree are a normal part of the training process. But just a lot, and I've really been searching still for like what are the things that I'm missing. And I kind of known what a couple of those things are, maybe, or well, sort of to a degree. Like I've had an intuition, but I couldn't like explain it. So it's like you kind of know something's out there, but you're not quite sure. If you knew what it was, you would have tried to resolve it. So I've really been working on helping him with not feeling like he has to run off all the time, which is so deep inside of him. I mean, that might be something we work on forever, but in the last couple of weeks, I had this day, and I didn't make a post about it because I wasn't sure how to talk about it. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't think anyone would believe me about what happened. But I had a day where I was really working on cleaning up how he wants to kind of just push into me, or as Amy says, mush a little bit into me with his shoulder. He does it with both shoulders. He tends to do it more with the right shoulder than the left shoulder. I do think there's a physiological component to that because we do know that this shoulder has had some type of significant injury in the past. But I also know that he is capable of not doing it. So it's a little bit of a laziness. And it's probably not even fair to say. It's that I haven't been effective or persistent at telling him, no, you need to do this a little bit better. So one thing that I changed is that I've started trying to clean that up. And I had a real tough day where I was working on cleaning that up, and I probably spent an hour and a half, so a little longer than I felt good about. But I got to something really important in that day. And because he gets really worried when I ask him to move over. He really thinks that he needs to run away. And I realize that that's a worry inside of him. And that I've allowed that, and that I probably inadvertently, accidentally trained that in there. But, he can unlearn things, and he can learn to be better. So trying to clean that up for him and with him. And so I spent all this time on this one day. And I always know with this horse that sometimes those days where I really have to hang in there a lot longer than I felt like hanging in there, the next day there's a big change. And what he did that was super weird that I did not post about, I wrote about it, but I didn't post about it. He had all these like big yawns in that session, the type where they like huge yawn, their eyes blink, their eyes roll back. You see the whites of their eyes. He must have had 15 or 20 of them, and I'm not even exaggerating. It was, he let go of something really big. So I took him back and I put him away. And I rinsed him off, and we did our whole thing. Then I brought him back here to his pen, and he did something that he's never done before. He stood here with me for a couple minutes, and then he literally laid down. I didn't have my phone on me, or I would have taken pictures. He literally laid down over here there's a little sandy spot on the other side of him, and he laid down here while I sat. He laid down next to me while I sat on this little, that bar over there that I sit on sometimes. And it was the weirdest thing. And he just laid there for 20 minutes, half an hour. He wasn't tired. That was what was so weird. And then it was lunchtime, and then he got up and ate his lunch. But it was so weird. And I feel like something really profound happened for him that day. I hope it sticks. I hope it sticks to the wall, because he's been so much more understanding about the shoulder. And I have not had to do as much to be effective because he has a better understanding. It's more clear in his mind. And it also hasn't been bringing up the anxiety that it was bringing. And since I've been working on that, I've really noticed how much more he's softened. Just a whole nother level of relaxation. It's much more consistent. It doesn't take as long to get there. And it's just his whole body. He's literally moving different. His back's a lot more relaxed. I've seen him move this way before, but it's so much more consistent. the last couple weeks than usual. I know there's other things that I've changed up to in the last couple weeks, so I'm sure all that's in there. But it's been really cool to see him just like have this giant moment and then start to release all this stuff, and it's just getting a little better every day. Some days it's a lot better. This week we had a different day where maybe his worry was up, but he was able to work through it several times. And today he was just fabulous. I mean, he came out, it was special in that sometimes he starts a little dull, and today he just really quickly started from a bright place. I mean, he maybe had a little dullness in him, but within a minute I had those bright eyes that I'm looking for all the time with him. And sometimes it used to take half an hour to find that, then it got to be 20 minutes. Lately it's been 10. Today it was 1. So so exciting to see him get to that bright place, because I know that brightness is him being awake and alive and interested and willing, and that goes with the relaxation. And if he doesn't have any of those things, that's when things fall apart. So just super exciting, because I felt today like he was searching for something in himself, and he was searching for me, and it wasn't too hard to find. You know, it was right there when he went to look for it. So super exciting, super happy with how I felt today. And I hope that these changes stick, and certainly I'm just going to be persistent in them, because I do think one thing that I've really been working on since the beginning of the year, I had a big breakthrough at a clinic where I was like, I don't always hang in there long enough with this horse. And it's not that I need to escalate, it's that I just need to stay longer. And I had some moments even this week where I'm like, ooh, like I'm still doing this thing that I've known I've been doing for about a year, where sometimes I drop the connection, and then he feels really unsafe. So the other day when he felt unsafe in a particular spot, I took a little more connection with him, and it wasn't a lot, but it made a huge difference in how he felt. So overall, excellent progress in the last couple weeks, and I feel like I've moved to a different plateau maybe. I don't know. Maybe we're not plateauing anymore.